It can fairly be said that American road racing entered the 21st century with the debut of Circuit of the Americas as host of the 2012 U.S. Grand Prix. The first facility in the United States designed specifically for Formula One, COTA was conceived by promoter Tavo Helmond and world motorcycle champion Kevin Schwantz and designed with the assistance of noted race circuit architect Herman Till. The 3.427-mile Grand Prix circuit features COTA's signature corner, Turn 1, a tight hairpin at the crest of a 133-foot rise, followed by a rapid descent into a series of fast, sweeping corners leading to another hairpin. From there, the cars follow a 5/8-mile straightaway before a complex series of multi-apex corners and a stadium-like setting rejoins the pit straightaway. In addition to the state-of-the-art circuit, pit and garage facilities, COTA features impressive spectator and VIP amenities, including a 251-foot tall observation tower, several stadium grandstand seating sections and spectator mounds for general admission viewing. Along with Formula One, COTA has hosted touring car, motorcycles, and as of 2021, NASCAR. Tonight, it's the Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series. It stops on its first road course of the season. Will a road course ringer take top honors, or will the oval driver take the top spot? Find out next here on HBR TV. Once again, everybody, good afternoon and welcome to Circuit of the Americas Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series. Practice wrapping up here shortly from the circuit. Zach Millett, top of the charts, a 2-minute 16.50. James Vance, an LMP3 driver out there, running second quick, a full 1.75 seconds off that time. While we have a moment here, let's take a look at some of the track facts. Of course, we'll look at a map here. We're not going around in circles, more than lefts tonight, lefts and rights. 20-turn road course, Circuit of the Americas. Turn 1, hard left-hander at the end of a straightaway. Then you go into the sweeping 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The corners progressively get tighter and tighter as you go on through the run. Then a quick left turn number 10 down the hill into a hard hairpin turn 11. Then it's flat out all the way down the straightaway. Again, 5/8 of a mile. They're going to hit about 165, maybe 170 miles an hour at the end of that straightaway to get into a hard left-hand turn number 12. And then you have the stadium section 13 through 19, and then back to the final turn number 20 to the front straightaway, all the way down, back into the turn 1 hairpin. It's about 145, 150 miles an hour before the braking zone into turn number 1. Circuit of the Americas, 3.41 miles, 11 turns to the left, 9 to the right, varying widths of 42 to 52 feet with 130 feet of elevation change. Lap record here at the circuit. Of course, it's Formula One. It's a minute 36.169 from 2019 by Charles Leclerc. Tonight, they're lapping about 2 minutes and 16 seconds in qualifying trim. Much slower, but still, those F1 cars, totally different animals that get around this circuit. More track facts. It's one of 26 Grade 1 FIA tracks in the world, and of course, the only one in the United States. World-class facility. We'll put on all sorts of interesting things here this afternoon with the Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series. And I do want to welcome Eric Dotson up into the broadcast booth. Eric, how are you?
Doing good, Steve. How about you?
I'm doing well. Again, we're getting ready to go road racing here in just about 15 miles from the city of Austin, Texas, at the virtual Circuit of the Americas. Zach Millett, top of the board. James Vance, Neil Quick, Drew Blaze, Colt Ansley, the top 5 in practice.
So, Steve, I got a question.
Yeah.
How bad do you wish you was on this road course racing?
We were talking about it earlier. We were watching the practice, and I don't know. I guess you could say the anxiety was kicking off. The nerves were going. I'm excited to call it, but yeah, I certainly will be looking forward to being out there if I could be. But it seems that it would be a race for second place at best. You got Zach Millett putting on one heck of a pace, 2 minutes and 16 seconds. I think the best I ever ran was a mid 2:18 here. So James Vance, again, James drives the LMP3 series in the IMSA series. So he's certainly got a wealth of road course background. We're going to jump right into the qualifying session. Zach Millett, favorite for the pole tonight. Keep an eye on the 315, that S4 guy racing Silverado. He's going to lay down a couple of quick ones here.
I always hated when we came to road course in these leagues.
Well, I mean, if it's just not your forte, that's fine. You just kind of got to get out there and turn the laps. Just be smooth, be consistent. That's the biggest challenge. Keep the thing out of the tire barrier.
Yeah, I remember when I was running the IROC series and Brian Rose was spotting for me, and we were doing great. You know, I think I was running 7th or 8th, which was really good for me. Brian would tell me, you know, left turn coming up or whatever it was, and he took a drink of pop or something, and I hit the wall head on.
We were just talking about it the other day.
Oh, was he telling you about it?
Well, I remember the race. I remember watching. I think it was, you said it was an IROC race. I was watching along with it, but I forget how the conversation came up. Brian said something about, you just got to go out and turn the laps. It's no big deal. You don't need the driving line or anything like that. And I'm like, you stopped talking for 30 seconds and Eric Dotson was in the fence.
Yeah. I mean, I was tickled to death with 7th. I felt like I was winning out there. Zach looks smooth out there right now, though.
Which is interesting because you watch him in practice and he was really just putting the power down, sliding the truck all over the place. And this is just the out lap for Zach Millett. Zach Millett on the track for his first timed lap. Not sure if we have an extended qualifying session or not, as it does take quite a while to get around this place.
So on that, when you first go out, it's a long time before you actually get the green flag. So I'm not a road course guy. I know you are. What do you do in that situation? Are you trying to get a little bit of scuff on your tires, or what are you doing?
Well, I'm not 100% sure how you want to approach it in a stock car sense with the Goodyear Racing Eagles that these truck series trucks are using. Is they're typically best as soon as you get out there on them. I know in a road course type car, GT3 IMSAs usually want to get heat buildup into those tires before they're going to grip. It's going to take a lap, maybe even 2. But with these guys, you almost want to take it easy, get a little bit of heat in it, but don't really push on your out lap until maybe the last third of the out lap. Then you can kind of push and burn up that tire on the first timed lap. I don't think your second lap is going to be quicker here, just given the size of the track.
I was always wondering what the strategy there was.
It depends. I mean, a place like Watkins Glen, I mean, by comparison, that's a super speedway of road courses. You're on throttle a ton of the lap by comparison. You may just go out and push right away because you want to get the heat in the tire enough that it's got some grip. You don't want to melt them, but it does vary from track to track, vehicle to vehicle, of course, tire compound to tire compound. Millett off turn 20. He's going to cross the line here for his first timed lap. Zach Millett, a 2:17.55. We're going to switch over to James Vance, driver of the number 11 Toyota Tundra. He's going to finish up lap 1. Where will Vance check in? Not quick enough for pole. 2:18.229. Vance does have another opportunity here. Maybe some missed time out there on the track. We'll see if he keeps it in the gas here for a second lap.
How hard is it to pass here, Steve?
Well, it's you got to think of it this way. There's a lot of corners, there's a lot of opportunity, but you got to set it up. And a lot of times you have to think about where you want to make that pass almost a lap in advance and start planning that move. You can look at a place like the end of long straightaways where there's a heavy braking zone. That's always a great opportunity. You can take that opportunity to be on the brakes a little bit later than the guy in front of you, and you kind of get to the inside and take the position. But some of these sweepers, the left, rights, a lot of rhythm involved there. It's kind of one lane, not a whole lot you can do. It's not like being at Martinsville where you have an opportunity basically every braking zone. Vance into turn 19, looking for 20. Nice and smooth on exit there. Gets the power down. Now he's into the last corner, turn number 20. Get straighten the truck out, get back to the gas. A little loose off exit. Let's see what kind of time we got here. Second lap for Vance. The 2:18.161. He did pick up, but not enough for P1. Andrew Locke put a time in. Colt Ansley on the track. Finish up his time. First lap for Ansley at 2:19.511. And Colt having some struggles putting the power down as well. You heard the RPMs go through the roof. Neil Quick jumps to the third spot. Current top 5, Zach Millett, James Vance, Neil Quick, Andrew Locke, Colt Ansley.
Looks like we still got half the field that hasn't qualified. Or, well, we got maybe eight people.
Yeah, and that's not a terrible surprise. Looks like Will Hewitt gets in here a little bit late, too. Good to see Will showing up for this. Will's taking some laps now. Again, I didn't see him in the practice session, so that might be why he's on the track right now. Second lap for Ansley. Doesn't look like it's counted. Maybe an off track. Will Hewitt, he wraps up things as well. Chris Goins on the track. Goins in that islanding number 6 Toyota Tundra. Must have had an off track because he does not register a lap time for his first lap. Just about 60 seconds left in the session officially, but I believe on the road course, once he takes his second lap, at least starts his second lap, he's going to be allowed to finish it, I believe. Lap 2 for Chris Goins, 2:23.829. That was his second lap, so he comes to a conclusion here. And we do have 5 trucks that have not taken a time at all. Bobby Hamilton Jr. took a couple of laps, didn't check in a time. Rob Hattenbach, same thing. Will Hewitt, about a lap, and checked out of the qualifying session. It's surprising, actually. Bobby Hamilton Jr. didn't get a qualifying lap in. He was pretty quick in the practice. Road course is not really his thing, but let's go through. Let's take a look at practice times before we get too deep into things. And earlier on this evening, Zach Millett was quickest at a 2:16.24. Maybe an off track involved there. Not sure. James Vance was second. Neil Quick third. Blaze fourth. And what is going on here? Bobby Hamilton Jr. was sixth quick. 3 seconds off that top time. A 2:19 wouldn't have been too bad, actually, for the driver of the number 16. So practice is done. Qualifying is done. Our starting grid for the Texas Tussle 125. On the pole position, it is Zach Millett with the 3:15. To the outside front row, it is James Vance in the number 11 with Billy Gaff Racing. Row number 2, it's Neil Quick and Andrew Lott. Row 3, Colt Ansley, Drew Blaze. Row 4, in the 7th spot, it is Brian Rose and Mark Truxell. Vincent Short's going to roll off from the 9th spot with Cook Quick starting 10th. Chris Goins will roll from the grid on the 11th position with Mike Fahey starting 12th. 13th starting position goes to Eddie Rose, the number 88. Will Hewitt will start in the 14th position. Carson Conway, Bobby Hamilton Jr., 14th and 15th. Rob Hattenback, Thomas McMullen starting 17th and 18th. Jamie Kerr, Keaton Burnett, 19th and 20th, with Jesse Bobo rounding out the field in the 21st position. A little bit thinner field tonight than we're used to seeing with the Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series. Again, these road courses tend to scare some guys away a little bit, just don't want to put up with the headache. I know David Bradford, certainly not afraid of road course racing, usually does pretty well, but tending to a sick child tonight, so unfortunately we will not see the driver, the number 46, turning any laps here at COTA. So, Eric, we're going to have a long pace lap here. Do you got a pick for tonight?
I will take Zach.
Of course you would.
You have killed me this year in picks.
Yeah, but doesn't that mean I'm supposed to pick first?
No, losers first.
All right, well, I'm just going to go with the natural here. I got to go with experience, and that's going to be James Vance, driver of the number 11 Toyota. James, again, he wheels the LMP3 cars in real life. Very familiar with the racetrack. Looked very smooth in the practice session. Didn't quite have the pace that Zach Millett had, but certainly going to be a good performer out here tonight, as long as he can keep his internet connection. I've seen that happen a couple of times with him tonight.
It looks like the 75 of Jamie Kerr will also not be making the race.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, said his wheelbase has died.
'21st place points for Jamie Kerr. It's certainly not what he was looking for tonight. But again, a little bit shorter field, so it's not the end of the world. He'll still get some points, and going to make it that much better for those of them that are behind him. They will not score any points this evening. Jamie Kerr will at least outscore some drivers. Pace car peels off the racetrack. Got to get through turn 20 before we see the green flag. Again, in the SCAR series, the green flag indicates the start of the race. Restarts after the fact would be on the leader if we get a major incident. There will be local yellows only today, so no worries about full course cautions, except for the stage break at lap 26. Green flag waves. We're underway from COTA.
Ooh, everybody was on the brakes hard right there.
Got to get everything wound up. Looks like Vincent Short, Chris Goins may be coming to blows. Contact made. Everybody gets away. James Vance challenging for the top spot already through the S's. James Vance loses some connection there, and he gets spun. Yeah, we saw that happen a couple of times. He kept losing internet connection. It happened. Now Cole Ansley looking to the high side on Zach Millett. Cole Ansley up 3 spots already since the drop of the green flag. Tries to get to the inside of Millett. Nothing doing there. Colt gets into the curb. Sends that truck airborne. That's not good for the suspension. Hard braking. So far, so good. It's a little messy in the back of the pack, but everybody's keeping it nose forward down the back straightaway.
Talking about Vance and his connection issues, this is the worst track for that to happen to. I mean, you got a little bit of play on an oval track right here. I mean, you just can't have that.
Yeah, we talked about it in the open. The widest point in this racetrack is only 52 feet wide. It sounds like a good amount, but it's really not. You put 2 trucks side by side, there's 12 feet if they're touching doors right there. So not a ton of space to make moves here. If the slightest little mistake happens, you're going to make contact, especially like you're saying, Eric, if they lose connection and just disappear, that can be a big problem.
Yeah, hopefully that won't happen to him anymore. I hate to see that happen to anybody and them get taken out of the race.
James Vance still having some connection issues there, just ahead of Brian Rose. Brian Rose runs in the 8th spot, lost a position on the start. And if you look at our track map at the top of the right-hand section of the screen, we do have the top 10 cars in the running order, listed 1 through 10. Nice and easy for you to see there. As they get strung out, that'll be a little easier to distinguish. Right now, a lot of these guys right on top of each other.
Up front, it looked, second place is sideways.
Colt Ansley's around. Let's take a look at that one here. Not sure what happened with the 86. We'll go full speed here. Oh, Colt just gets to the throttle a little too soon, and around it goes. That's going to move Andrew Locke up into the 2nd position. Andrew Locke, another road racing ace. A little bit of damage to the rear of that truck, but so far he's, well, still trucking. James Vance back up into the 5th position, still making some forward progress. And Andrew Locke, not a newcomer to SCAR. He's done most of his time here in road racing events. Last year's season 1 of the road racing GT1 series with SCAR. This year running a little bit of the SCAR Radical series, and did turn some oval laps with a couple of races, and he is trying to run the full season this year in the Premier Series, trying to get his feet wet in this oval category. Certainly licking his chops here, being able to run a road course twice this season here at COTA and then at Watkins Glen later on in the season.
Ooh, I didn't know we had 2 road courses.
See, that's the thing. Watkins Glen is going to be a totally different animal compared to the Circuit of the Americas. I like this place. It's cool. It's grown on me quite a bit since I first ran here in a stock car, or a truck for that matter, but I still don't think this place is really made for these vehicles. Of course it's not. It was engineered for Formula 1 and MotoGP, so it's not great for these big, heavy, lumbering trucks. Terrible brakes, not the greatest tires. They weigh too much. They're hard to put the power down, no downforce. It's fun to watch them try and get around here, but it really takes a lot of talent and a lot of patience to get it done. Got a lot to catch up on here. We've seen a couple of guys go off track, one of which, Bobby Hamilton Jr., had crashed. This looks like an incident laps ago. Might have been lap 1. See Bobby Jr. in the 16, Keaton Burnett coming in hot. Not sure if Keaton gets into the 16 here. Everybody's checking up ahead of the 16. Vince Short makes contact with Will Hewitt. Chris Goins get into it, really nowhere to go. Just bumper cars there through turn one. This is the opening lap. Vincent Short still running in the top 10. James Vance up into the 5th spot, putting pressure on the 4th place truck of Drew Blaze. Looking to the inside. This is going down the back straightaway into turn number 12. Blaze moves to the right, gives the position to Vance.
Vance is coming through the back flying. I mean, he had that issue earlier, and it looks like he's rebounding pretty good.
Well, it's definitely a long race. You got time to make it back up. I mean, we're only 3 laps in here of 37. Vance has made up a good handful of positions, already back up into the 4th spot. I think he was as low as 9th after that first lap. Possibly contact with Zach Millett. Not sure if that happened or not. Again, he did lose internet connection for a moment. That's why he blinked out and disappeared. Maybe reappeared in contact with another truck. So far, best lap time of the afternoon. Zach Millett at 2:16.87. Real easy to do when you have clean air in front and no one to worry about. I think the next quickest lap time is indeed James Vance at a 19:20 with Andrew Locke. Third quick, 19:26. Neil Quick's right in the mix, though, as well, a 19:72. Brian Rose a tick faster than that. Well, he's not. It's a 20.65 for Brian Rose. Will Hewitt up into the 11th position. He's made some forward progress himself. He's up 3 spots. Got to stay off those curbs. That's what it does to those trucks. You run those things over and it sends it up into the air. Keaton Burnett running in the 12th spot. He started 20th here this afternoon. So far, so good. A great run going for the 26 as he works to the outside of Will Hewitt.
I was getting ready to say Burnett's our biggest mover so far.
And they're slinging that truck all over the place, trying to make that pass for position on Will Hewitt. Will doing a great job battling back, and now they both got Cole Ansley to the inside, making it 3 wide. This is down the backstretch. Big braking zone at the end of this, going into turn number 12. Holt gets to the inside and actually clears the 26. Now he's got a draft on Will Hewitt. He's going to look to the inside. Heavy braking into turn 12. Does the good job out braking. Can Will Hewitt pull the move? He's going to slide it all the way through. Colt's going to slide off track here. Again, we're not worried so much about off track or track limits like they do in Formula One and sports cars. With these truckers here, it's loosely enforced at best. Colt Ansley up into the 11th position, passing 2 trucks there in really one sector of the race course.
Yeah,
Real
I mean,
quick.
Colt looks like he's got some speed here. He qualified 5th, and he was up in, I think, 2nd place when he got a little loose, and now he's trying to work his way back up.
Vance goes to the inside. Neil Quick into turn 1. Perfect execution. Out brake to the inside, and they're off and running. James Vance now back into the top 3, continuing to work his way forward. Neil Quick losing some pace. Now Drew Blaze knocking on the back bumper of the WR1 Sim Chassis F-150. So Eric, you talked about last time you ran here in the IROC series, how you pretty much had to have well, I guess you could say an off-road rally spotter in your ear, indicating what corner's coming up, when to get on the brakes, the whole 9 yards. Aside from having that spotter in your ear, what was your takeaway on this racetrack?
I always seen it to be loose. I felt like it was hard for me to get any grip around through here. And, I've Brian done a fantastic job spotting for me. So, I mean, I really don't know because I had him in my ear the whole time. And the 1 second he takes a drink of pop, I total out.
Now, as you say it was loose, was it more so getting in or getting off the corner?
I had trouble getting off the corners.
It's really the way that it is with these cars, these trucks, whether it's NASCAR based vehicles, I guess you could say. There's almost no downforce. Yeah, you got that big spoiler on the back of these things, but it doesn't do a ton, especially at low speed. Truck is pretty much at the mercy of gravity at that point, and as soon as you try to put the power down, there's nothing other than the weight of the vehicle pushing on those rear wheels. You give it a little bit too much throttle, the torque kicks in, and then tires break traction, and then you're off to the races trying to save that thing.
It's hard because you'll go one lap and you're like, oh, I can push my truck a little bit harder, and then the next lap you try and the back end's coming around. Or that's how it was for me.
But a lot of it's heat dependent too. I mean, guys that are quick here, they're going to be working with brake bias all race long, moving it to the front, moving it to the back. And to explain brake bias to the novice viewer, you can adjust the brakes independently from front to rear on these race trucks. And it's just a simple dial. It's a knob on the dash or down near the right-hand side of the driver, whatever's convenient for them, how they lay it out. But the way that it works is you dial in front brake bias, and it adjusts the brake fluid pressure more to the front of the truck and reduces it in the rear. It makes the truck more stable on braking, but it takes it a little bit longer to come to a slowdown. So you need to back up your corners and slow down sooner than you normally would. Whereas the other way around, more aggressive, fresh tires, you're going to roll those brakes to the rear. The more rear brake you can put in the truck, the more aggressive you can be on the brakes. Leighton Drew Blaze blows the corner. He's in the fence. Drew Blaze looks like he's stuck in the Tech Pro barrier. He may have to tow out of here.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have to get a tow. It don't look like. Yeah, he just got a tow back to pit road.
Watch the replay here. He was trying to make a move to the inside of Neil Quick. This was, I think, turn 19. Just gets in way too hot. Might have not realized what corner he was in because that one is a full-on hairpin. But yeah, he does get stuck in that Tech Pro barrier. Has to tow back to the pits. Tough break for Drew Blaze. Neil Quick's going to hang on to the fourth spot. But now Andrew Locke, he's getting pressure from his buddy James Vance in the third spot. Have to watch this battle go on for just a bit. But to continue the conversation about the brake bias, again, you roll it to the rear. You can be more aggressive on those brakes. You see Vance taking over position number 2. The problem with that is it does make the truck a little more unstable under braking. It has a tendency to lose the rear and kind of kick out. It also heats up the rear tires faster. You're also putting power to that rubber, trying to get off the corner and accelerate the truck. But if you got more rear brake bias into it, they're going to get hotter faster with that as well. So you will find guys, all of a sudden the truck's super loose. They'll start throwing a bunch of front brake back in the truck, cool off the rears a little bit, and then they can roll it back to the rear again and be more aggressive. It's kind of a balancing act. Some guys will kind of leave it where it's neutral and it's never a problem. Other guys want to maybe try and make a pass. They'll put a little more rear brake in it until they don't have to anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Once somebody worked with me on that when we were racing the ARCA League here in Scar, I felt like I was better on longer runs because I could get in there and adjust that brake bias.
Makes a massive difference.
Absolutely. That was a big learning point for me.
Terry Ansley. Hey, Stephen Eric. Announcer's curse. Watch it. We're not talking about anybody, Terry. I don't know who you're referring to.
He's coming back through the field, but we won't mention his name, Terry.
No, I won't say anything. Through all this, Zach Millett has rolled out to a 15-second advantage over position 2 James Vance. Again, James qualified front row, outside front row with Zach Millett, about a second and 3/4 off of that pole time. Just a lightning lap laid down by Zach Millett. It looked like they were going to battle it out, at least for the early runnings of this race, but a connection issue and some contact. James Vance gets shuffled back to the end of the top 10, but over these last 7 laps, fought his way back up into position 2. Now he's going to have to try and cut into Zach Millett's lead. See Bobby Hamilton Jr. up to the 7th spot. He's up 9 positions. He's not a fan of this place. He will tell you. It doesn't matter if it's here, Watkins Glen, whatever the case may be. He's not a road racer, but he has certainly put in the work, put in the effort, the practice required to have a decent finish. So far, it's looking pretty good for Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the top 10 solidly. Started 16th up to 7th. Zach Millett all by his lonesome at the front of the field.
Yeah, I mean, he is 2 seconds faster than James Vance right now.
Millett just working through the turn 9 and 10 sections. James Vance is currently just rolling through turn 8 and 9. Little wheel hop, we heard.
We got Kevin Blue in the chat asking what happened to Drew.
Drew Blaze, he overcooked it going into turn number 11. I believe it was 11. And got stuck in the Tech Pro barrier. Let's see if we can go back and get another look at it. We'll try and show that replay. Yeah, here it is. So for Kevin Blue, this is for you. Drew Blaze, he had a good run through that corner, was trying to make a move on the 2 of Neil Quick. Takes a look to the inside, just gets to the brakes way too late. Just drives it straight through the corner. Tries to avoid the wall a little bit too late, but then he gets the nose stuck in the barrier and he can't get out of it. Kind of gets hooked. Ended up having to tow back to the pit lane.
If I'm looking at this right, he's only 1 lap down, right?
Who's that, Drew Blaze?
Yes.
Yeah, it does appear he's only 1 lap down, so it's possible he gets that lap back when the caution comes out at end of lap 26. That will be our stage break. I know it's awfully late in the running, but that gives us about a 7-lap shootout to the end. Again, 7 laps around this place. It's well over 15 minutes, so it's not as short as it sounds. 7 laps at Bristol takes about 2 minutes.
Yeah. Are we going to see any green flag pit stops, or can they go the distance to the stage here?
No, they're definitely going to have to make at least 1 stop before the stage comes to its conclusion. They did have 70% fuel load coming into tonight, but also only 2 sets of tires over the wall.
Looks like Mark Truxell and Bobby Hamilton Jr. may be out of the race.
Ooh, something happened there. Didn't catch that. I was just looking at them. Let's take a look at it. Bobby Hamilton Jr. involved in an incident here. It was just a moment ago. Bobby Hamilton Jr. Not sure what corner he's in. This might be turn 11. No, this is turn 20. This is just gets to the throttle a little too soon. Don't see what happened with Mark Truxell, though. Oh, here we go. I found it. We're going to back it up a little bit further. Oh, there's some more. Okay, so some contact was made between a bunch of drivers here. Mark Truxell, Vincent Short, Bobby Hamilton Jr. I want to back this up a little further again. In fact, we may need to go to the blimp on this one. This is the stadium section. Yeah, Truxell just gets in way too hot, parks it in the middle of the corner. Ansley, Bobby, and Vince all make contact. I think it's going to do it possibly for Mark Truxell. Bobby has trouble on corner exit here in turn 20. No, maybe not. But nonetheless, I think Bobby is back in the pit lane, or is he back on track? Well, we're 10 laps in here from Coda. Zach Millett still leads. James Vance, Neil Quick up to third. And contact possibly between Neil Quick and Andrew Locke. Let's go look at that one here. This is... see, Andrew hard on the brakes. This is also turn 20. Oh, looks like Andrew just over rotates getting off the corner. Back to the throttle a little bit too soon. Does he kiss the wall? Little tiny kiss. He's going to back it up and continue on. That's going to move Neil Quick up into position 3. So now your top 3 is Millett, Vance, Quick, and then Brian Rose, Andrew Locke, the balance of the top 5. Brian Rose quietly working his way towards the front of the field. It's actually kind of scary. Brian Rose's fastest lap of the day was a 2:20.65. Zach Millett, 10 laps into this event, just ran a 2:20.21. And that's not a slam on Brian Rose, because everybody else behind Zach Millett is about 2 to 3 seconds off of that pace on these older tires. How Zach's pulling this off, I'll never know.
Yeah, I mean, we're, what, 10 laps into the race, and he almost has a 20-second lead.
Back in the 10th spot, Keaton Burnett, pressure from Cook, quick. Cook real loose through the corner, saves the truck, straightens it out. The battle continues. Work down into turn number 11. Down this long back straightaway. Curious if Cook's going to get enough of a draft off of the 26. Doesn't look like he's close enough to do anything with it. Keaton got off the corner really well. Thomas McMullen up to the 12th spot. Started 18th. The truck's a little worse for wear, but so far he's doing okay. Pulled Ansley up to position 6. About 4 or 5 truck lengths off the back bumper of the 25.
Now something happens, Terry's gonna blame you for mentioning his name.
Yeah, my steering wheel's not even attached. I can't control this.
What lap do you think we may see some caution or some pit stops?
I'm not sure what the pit window ended up being, but I'd imagine relatively soon. You see Colt Ansley going to the inside of Andrew Locke. Colt gets into that curve, as does Andrew Locke. Both trucks fighting hard here. Looks like Andrew's probably going to get a slowdown for cutting the course. Not sure. It looks like he is, but he's back in the throttle again. Now he's got a mirror full of Vincent Short for the 6th position. Short running 7th. I hear the wheel hop. I don't know if you caught that or saw it on the tachometer. Give you an understanding of what wheel hop is. It sounds exactly like what it is. See Colt Ansley real loose off the corner. All these drivers fighting handling issues as Andrew Locke loses another spot here. Vincent Short goes around. But wheel hop is if you get too deep into a corner or too hard on the brakes, they're starting to wear out. You load the front end of the truck or the car. All the weight transfers to the front wheels, not the rear, and you have a tendency to start locking up the rear tires. But the truck tatters and bounces off the rear wheels, and it kind of sounds like the rear wheels are hopping on the pavement, and sometimes you'll even hear the tires squeal in a rhythmic pattern as the truck tries to slow down. There's two ways to stop it: get off the brakes or spike the throttle. It's very counterintuitive to do that when you're trying to slow down for a corner, but that's really the only way. And if you overdo the wheel hop, the truck's going to come around. You know, the solution to prevent it, that's the best measure: roll those brakes to the front of the truck, like we talked about brake bias earlier on. So Keaton Burnett finally lost the spot to Cook quick. Cook's going to make a move here on Will Hewitt as well, maybe for the 9th position. Will takes the high side. It's going to carry a little bit of momentum into the next corner.
Ooh, sideways.
Cook quick is around. Take a look at it, see what happened to Cook. I'm going to assume he just got to the throttle a little bit too soon, trying to make up some ground on Will Hewitt.
Jesse Bobo just spun around in front of everybody too. Luckily, everybody got around him.
We got a few things to unpack here. So Cook quick, yeah, a little bit too much wheel and a little too much throttle off of turn number 20. That's been a common theme for many drivers this afternoon. Carson Conway with an issue on track as well. Let's see what happened to the Country Designs Toyota Tundra. I think this is getting into turn number 12. Yes, overcooks it. Nothing significant, back in the running. You said Jesse Bobo had an incident as well.
Yeah, he's actually just had another one. Well, it wasn't an accident, but he ran off the track just now.
You can tell tires are starting to wear on these trucks big time. That is not a heavy corner. That's a tough place to really have that happen. Lost traction in the rear end of the truck. Around it went.
Luckily, that wasn't worse than just that.
And we do have some trucks hitting the pit lane. James Vance, Neil Quick alike. James pits from the 2nd position. Zach Millett stays out in front. And his last lap of 2:22.73. James Vance last lap of 23:35. Can just assume we're going to go 4 tires and fuel here. 25 laps to go. Vance is going to come out in the 6th position. Neil Quick, his pit work is complete. He comes out 7th. And everyone's going to have to cycle through. The green flag stops underway here from Circuit of the Americas. Zach Millett still in command. Dominating performance thus far. Zach works through the stadium section of the track, 13, 14, 15, and so on.
Zach's getting a little loose now, it looks like.
Yes, he is. Tires starting to slip on the 315 machine.
Bring her to pit road, Zach.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably time for that truck to hit the pit road for some regular scheduled service. Into the pits he goes. Trying to get all he can, man. Trying to get it woed up. Hopefully he doesn't get a pit road penalty for unsafe entry or even speeding.
Yeah, he came around pit road sideways.
I watched him in practice. He was practicing his pit entry, trying to maximize as much time as he can. Not that he really needs it with the pace that he's been running. Down and away. Good clean stop for Zach Millett. 14.83 seconds in the box. He's going to roll out, and I think he's going to keep the top spot. By a wide margin. Second place right now, Cole Ansley, as he goes down the front straightaway. Zach Millett already working the S's, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and so on.
Zach's definitely got this track down pat.
Looks like Rob Hattenback might have had an issue on track. Let's take a look what happened to the 99. Might be getting down into turn number 11. Just overcooked it. We've seen it a couple of times. Again, nothing serious. Kind of similar to the Carson Conway incident. No contact, just overshot the corner. Thomas McMullen in his pit box as well. Left and right side tires on. And I'd be willing to bet Thomas may have had a pit speeding penalty. Or if he's just trying to get some repairs done, that could be the case too. A 27.4 second stop for the 02 of Thomas McMullen. Two drivers left to take their opportunity to pit. Cole Ansley is still out on the racetrack. Chris Goins as well. That is it. Two trucks still out on the racetrack on their original set of tires. Trying to stretch the fuel a little bit further than the rest. Trying to do something about pit strategy here. And Zach Millett running away from this right now. Carson Conway in trouble again. Possibly Neil Quick involved in it as well. Let's try and get a look at that. Carson Conway got into trouble by himself. Let's back it up a little bit further. Both trucks just come to a stop mid-corner. Yeah, now those of you watching at home, this is not the norm for the Superior Class Auto Racing. They're only running 2 road courses this entire season, mostly ovals, so it's not everyone's cup of tea, but so far, so good for some of these drivers up at the front of the field. Cole Ansley, though, just finishing his pit work. Chris Goins, the last truck on the track that is yet to make his stop.
Looks like Will Hewitt may have missed a turn and got off track just now. He's back on and in the 10th position. I seen him get up on the rumble strips. That's about it. Right now, it looks like Drew has been able to get his lap back the old-fashioned way. I'd say that might have been a two-tire stop for him in order to do that. And talking to Brian and me and him getting in iRacing together, he really enjoys coming to road courses. He's not the best, but he puts in the time and the effort to get better. Ooh, Vincent Short. Yeah, Vince was coming in hard on him right there. Drew's definitely showed some speed early on here in practice, so you know, hopefully for his sake he'll be able to stay the first car a lap down and get that lucky dog pass at the end of the stage. I've been watching him the last few laps, and I mean, he's using the whole track and some of the grass right now. I mean, I'm sure that truck's a handful.
Without a doubt. I mean, he's got 15 laps on that set of tires at this stage, and he's going to have to go another 10. I don't know if he's going to make it. That's a challenge.
Yeah, he's definitely using every piece of track there is and a little bit of grass and dirt with it.
Keaton Burnett still runs in the 8th position. A good run so far for Keaton Burnett. Again, started 20th. He's up to 8th. And Will Hewitt spins. And Vincent Short, another issue on track. Let's take a look at these two incidents. Will Hewitt first. Just catches the apex of that corner. Keeps the truck off the fence, which is a plus, but nevertheless, valuable track position lost for the 33. Vincent Short, let's look at his incident. Is just getting into the S's, just misjudges that first entry, and it's going to really mess up the whole rest of it. Has to really lock him up, come to a stop, straightens the truck back out. Again, not a major crash, but certainly enough to ruin an afternoon. Jesse Bobo also appears to have had some trouble on track as well.
Looks
Jesse
like Andrew
overdrives it.
Looks like Andrew Lott may be out of the race now.
Andrew is indeed out of the race. I don't see what happened with Andrew. I don't see any off tracks or what the case may be. He hit the pit lane at lap 16 just a few laps ago. He may have gotten a penalty. Let's see. This is a replay of his stop. He's too far to the right, and he's trying to get the truck straightened back out. Loses some time there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
Tough to say. Looks like he was getting some repairs done as well, but did not go back out on the racetrack. If he did, he was quickly back to the pit lane. Ryan Rose hanging on to a decent top 5 so far. Again, came into tonight as the point leader. In fact, let's take a look at the points while we've got the opportunity. Again, Brian Rose, 129 points, comes in as the leader. Of course, he won the race at Daytona, the opening race of the season. Neil Quick also with a win. He runs in the 2nd position as far as points are concerned. Chris Goins, Mark Truxell, Cody Harger. Those are going to change pretty significantly. Truxell having issues on track. Cody unable to make the race tonight. Jamie Kerr was 6th coming into tonight. He did not make the start. He did enter the session, so he'll leave here with a couple of points, but not many. Mike Fahey, don't think he made the race either. He's going to drop down. Thomas McMullen, he's in the race. Hattenback as well. Bradford, the top 10. He didn't make the race, so we've got a bunch of drivers. There's going to be a big mix-up in the point standings when this race comes to its conclusion. We'll have to follow up on that next week.
Yeah, and that's, you know, this series is getting even more competitive. As I look at the points, you know, only one guy that's in the top 5 finished in the top 5 last year. You know, I know it's early on, but that shows you how competitive this league is.
Yeah, and if you really think about that, though, it's almost a skewed stat. I mean, Zach Millett didn't run with us last year. If he's running a full season, he's certainly going to be a top 5 challenger this year. James Vance, yes, he's a 2nd place truck so far, but again, albeit pretty much a major rookie everywhere else we're going to go to this season, with the exception of Watkins Glen. He's got some laps there in real life. Neil Quick didn't run a full season last year, was putting on a charge last season, winning races, just trophy hunting. He's going to be in the mix this year as well. He's second in points right now. And then Colt Ansley, he's hot and cold sometimes, but as of right now, solidly in the top 5. Brian Rose just exiting turns 8 and 9. Yeah, we talked to Brian a little bit here pre-race. Conversation that we had with him is he's just going to go out here and ride. Doesn't expect to roll out of here with a win. He saw the pace that Millett and Vance were able to throw down. Even guys like Neil Quick and Colt Ansley turning out some decent lap times. It's like, you know what? If I just stay out of trouble, bring this thing home with a solid top 5, we'll have a good points day. Just doesn't want to end up on the back of a tow truck. So far, with 17 to go, Brian Rose is doing a pretty good job at just that, as he does overdrive the corner. Long loop, make the corner a little bit bigger. He continues on. Turn 12 is a doozy. Again, they're running 165, some cases 170 miles an hour. The end of that straightaway before they hit the brakes hard to get into turn number 12.
Yeah, I can relate to Brian more than anybody here. Me and him lived a mile apart growing up. We raced four-wheelers, we raced go-karts. We're on iRacing now, and the thing with him is he's just got so good at being patient and saving his truck. I remember when me and him first started on this, we were both impatient and thought we had to run a fast lap every lap, and Brian has really done good at just becoming patient and being consistent. I mean, he's one of the most consistent guys we have in this league.
We've said it so many times. You've heard it said, whether it's NBC or Fox or whoever it is, or even in the movies. If you want to win the race, you got to finish the race. Or to finish first you must finish. And that's really the mindset of Brian Rose. He goes out there, he tries to get whatever finishing position the truck's going to give him that day. If you got a 5th place truck and you finish 10th, you failed. It's not that you didn't win. If you're capable of 5th, you better get 5th. If you are capable of 5th and you get 3rd, well, that's a bonus. Or if you win, so on and so forth. But you can't go backwards. If you continue your whole season getting what you and your team are capable of, you got a real good opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, he's done great at just being consistent, taking his time, and a lot of these guys have. But like I said, me and Brian grew up together, so I kind of relate to him more than anybody else.
So you guys grew up together. I think you guys ran go-karts together. Why is he so good at the road course compared to you?
He's a lot more patient than I am. I'm very, very impatient, and he was when we first started. But I mean, he kept racing, and I've been up here calling these races with you, and he has got. I feel like when I was racing, me and him were give and take with each other, and now, I mean, let's go off air. This is not on record, but I mean, he's a lot better than I am now because he's put in the work and the time.
Well, we've talked about it so many times, and you're the one to always bring it up about the amount of practice that it takes to be fast and competitive, especially in this series. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of dedication, and if you don't have the time to put it in, you're just not going to be fast, especially compared to the competition here in SCAR.
110%. I mean, it takes a lot. All these guys put on a great show, and you can tell when they put in the time. if you was out there, would you have anything for Zach?
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Zach is 2 seconds a lap faster than me most of the time. At least on this track in the trucks. We ran GT3s last night. I finished second. He finished fourth. Let's see. Sunday we ran radicals. I won. He finished second. But he gives me a run for my money every time we're at a racetrack. But it seems that if we're running anything in a stock car or even a truck, he is just lights out faster.
You're in the booth. You could have built yourself up a little bit more.
Well, this is what it is.
He's definitely got the speed here. I mean, he's on. I'm not sure when he pitted last, but I mean, he ran, a 20.067 right there. He's a little loose. I guess he heard us talking about him and might be on the throttle a little harder.
So it looks like we currently do not have a live admin available for this race. Again, Cody is the typical admin. He was out traveling, and I think we had a couple other backups that did not make it or have since left the session. I think I may be listed as an admin. I don't know if I can throw a yellow from this stance or not, but when the time comes, I will give it a shot. You're going to see it on screen, but what choice do we have? Still the top three: Zach Millett, James Vance, Neil Quick. Neil Quick and Colt Ansley awfully close together right now, battling for that position with 15 laps to go.
Looks like Colt's closing the gap a little bit on him here. Colt's gonna make a move, I think. Looks like Neil didn't fight it too much.
No, you heard actually, we were on the onboard camera, Neil Quick. Neil let out of the throttle, let the 86 go, caught him in a hurry. Wise move, really let him go. See Will Hewitt in the pit lane. Now we are right about time for our second set of scheduled stops. We saw our first pit stops right around lap 12, 13, 14. So this is kind of, they're due again, but we'll see if Will takes tires. He does. This is going to be the last set. This may not be a bad move. We've got the competition caution or the stage caution coming at lap 26 or at the completion of lap 26.
Neil and Colt's in a battle here for third place.
It almost looks like Neil Quick let him go just to go work on him again.
Yeah, he had the bumper close to him there for a while, and that looks like Colt may be pulling away a little bit. like they're coming up on Thomas McMullen, who may have ran off the track and got back on it. And when we was talking about the connection issues, I thought of Thomas and was hoping he didn't have no issue. I know he blinks out occasionally from time to time.
Yeah, I really haven't seen many issues with him tonight, really any at all as far as connection goes. Zach Millett still 46 seconds ahead of the field. I mean, honestly, if I'm Zach at this point, I'm just going to start saving fuel. With less I got to put in the truck when this caution comes out.
We'll have to send him to Tech after this race.
Bear with me, guys. I'm going to try something here. I'm not typically liking having to do this, but we're left with no choice at the moment. That's not going to work either. Trying to find a way to throw a caution here. Coming to 12 laps to go. Zach Millett still heftily in command of this field. Gap is now 59 seconds. It looks like James Vance either had an issue or decided to pit. In fact, he did hit the pit lane at lap 24. And Rob Hattenbach having some trouble on the speedway in the 10th position, gets it straightened out. Will Hewitt's going to go on by, take the spot. Hattenbach spins again. His last stop was lap 12, so he's gone a ways. Those rear tires are about gone.
So that's completion of this lap's when we should have the caution, right?
Now we are on lap 25 right now, so we got a ways to go. Millet crosses the line, starts the 26th lap of the race. Millet so far led every lap up to this point. Hasn't stopped since lap 13. He's going to try and carry it all the way to the stage caution. Millet into turn 11. Heavy on the throttle again, down the back straightaway. Keaton Burnett spins in front of the leader. Zach gets through no problem. Millet through the stadium section. Leaders on pit road. Zach Millet hits the pit lane. Stage is about to come to an end, and we're without an admin. I don't know if we're going to get the yellow flag here at all. Mike Fahey running in the 7th position. We haven't seen a whole lot on Mike today. Been awful quiet, but he's running solidly in the top 10. Millet down and away at 15.12 second stop for the 315 truck, taking his last set of tires of the event. 10 laps to go. Current top 3, Zach Millet, James Vance, Colt Ansley. Then we've got Neil Quick, Brian Rose, the balance of the top 5. We're supposed to get the comp caution, the stage caution here at the end of the previous lap. It did not come as we are without admin. So we're just going to run this clean and green to the end of the race. 10 laps to go. We are going to step aside for a break, and we will return after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Austin, Texas, the Circuit of the Americas Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series. First road course stop of the season. Zach Millett making the best of it, I guess you could say, leading this race here with a 50-second advantage over the rest of the field. James Vance runs second. Colt Ansley is third. Neil Quick and Brian Rose, the balance of the top five. Green flag pit stops, last of the afternoon underway. Just about everybody, I believe, has taken their final stop of the afternoon with 8 laps to go. Zach Millett just needs to run some clean laps to get it home to a checkered flag to take his second win on the season. James Vance already looking like he's going to have a career day here, at least in the SCAR Premier Series, running second, 7 seconds ahead of Colt Ansley. Again, James Vance, relative newcomer to the series, road racing ace extraordinaire. Having a good run here this afternoon. Started at the second spot, runs in the second spot. That's pretty much the case for the top two. Millett and Vance started front row, and that's how they run. Colt Ansley started fifth. He's up to third. Neil Quick started third. He's down to fourth. And Brian Rose up 2 spots, rounding out that top five. A solid afternoon for the driver of the number 89. Vincent Short running in the 6th position. He's gained a few spots on the day, started 9th. And driver we haven't talked about a whole lot this afternoon, Mike Fahey. New colors on that truck, probably why I didn't recognize it earlier on, but nonetheless, having a good day himself. Runs in the 7th spot. He's gained 5 positions. Speaking of gaining positions, Keaton Burnett runs 8th, started 20th this afternoon. Definitely the biggest mover on the day. Chris Goins, 9th position. He's up a couple of spots as well, running in that number 6 islanding Toyota Tundra. Close in tow, though, is the 33 of Will Hewitt. He's also up 4 positions. We'll keep an eye on this battle here for a little bit here. This is for the 9th spot. Well, Eric, we didn't get that competition caution, that stage caution like we anticipated, again, without an admin. We'll just keep running this thing out. We'll see what happens. But so far, everyone's gotten their pit work done, so I don't really see the point to it now. And maybe we lost Eric Dodson.
Nah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I was listening to the driver's chat there for a second. They're all asking about the stage caution.
Did you go in and fill them in at least?
I'm getting ready to.
Yeah, jump over. Let them know what's going on. Well, that battle for position quickly evaporated. Will Hewitt got into trouble, clipped the curb, upset the truck pretty bad. Again, kept it going. Still trucking here. We're looking for a top 10. Rob Hattenback, though, in trouble once again in the 12th spot. Off track. Let's take a look what happened to Rob again. Looks like this might have been going down into turn number 1. Not enough brake.
Zach has definitely killed it here at this road course.
And we kind of expected that. I mean, Zach has certainly got pace around this place. I'm just surprised to see him be able to continue that pace even throughout the course of the run. His last lap, a 2:19.4. Again, best on the day is a 16:87 out of Zach Millett. His last pit stop was at lap 27. That's about 4 or 5 laps ago. He was saying pre-race that about 5-6 laps into a run, the tires really start to go away.
I mean, he's on old tires, he's faster than a lot of these guys on new tires. I mean, it's phenomenal the performance he's put on here today.
I mean, you see it right now. Again, last lap was a 1940. And I'm looking through the lap times. There's only one driver that's turned a lap faster than that, and that's second place James Vance. Correction, Andrew Locke was a 1926, but he is out of the race.
I think this is Zach's second win of the season.
Yeah, I think Zach won it. Yeah, Zach won at Rockingham.
I shouldn't count my egg or my chickens from my eggs hatch here.
Let's ride on board with Zach Mill. We really haven't done that today. Let's get the in-car perspective. Zach gets into turn number 1. I'm surprised how shallow an entry he takes to that corner. Real loose on exit. Trying to put the power down.
He just trying to get these next few laps over with.
He's just drifting this whole racetrack like it's a dirt track. Mill it down the back straightaway. Going to be a hard break at the end of this into turn 12. This time he kept it second gear. Again, we talked about that as the tires wear out. First gear no longer becomes an option because if you get it too soon, you're going to wheel hop like crazy. You run the risk of getting the truck upset, spinning it out. Again, at this stage in the game, Zach's got almost a half lap advantage over second place. He could spin the truck. I don't think it would really make a whole lot of difference at this point.
It doesn't look like he's letting up. I mean, he's got a 55-second lead, and I mean, you see him still pushing and running, 2-minute, 18-second laps. If I had that kind of lead, I'd be coasting.
It's just not Zach's style. He's full send as he works turn number 20 back onto the main straightaway to complete this lap. Cole Ansley in the third spot. Now you see Will Hewitt just up ahead. Will, the last truck. Well, now his first truck one lap down.
It's been a good solid run for Colt today.
Terry, if you're still watching, I didn't say anything about Colt. That was all Eric. Ooh, Will Hewitt real loose off turn 20, trying to get it out of the grass.
I think Colt's just fine with these few laps to go, unless Colt beats himself by trying to catch James, and and takes himself out. I think he's a solid top 3.
Yeah, we'll certainly see. Well, James Vance in the second spot, not that far ahead. In fact, it's only a full second back to the 86 of Colt Ansley. Plenty of time here, 3.5 laps to go. Colt really wants to push the issue. It's a possibility. He's closed the gap again through that set of corners. Off the kink, down into turn number 11. Colt is a smart driver too. He can sit here behind Vance and watch what he's doing, knowing that he's a road racing guy. Might be able to learn a thing or two, maybe use it against him. James knows the track, knows the craft, but I think Colt knows the truck, knows the vehicle better. It might be a pretty even matchup, at least at this stage of the race. Millett crosses the line, puts 3 laps to go up on the board.
Yeah, I mean, Colt does great in this league, and almost every track we go to, Colt's competitive. I feel like most of the time, Colt's biggest competition is himself.
Colt drives it way deep, truck length between himself and James Vance. Colt wants that second spot. I don't think he's given up. It's time to push. It's time to go. Colt looked into the outside, nothing doing there.
Colt's right there.
Defensive move by James Vance. Will it pay off? Crossover coming. Colt Ansley gets to the inside, catches the curb, nothing yet. Good battle for the second spot. James Vance trying to defend. He wants this second position. Runner-up isn't too shabby if he can't have the trophy. These two going at it here late in the race for the second spot.
Yeah, it looks like Vance is going to make Colt have to really do something special to pass him. He's driving a lot of defense right now.
Colt's definitely going to have to use the bumper or earn it one way or the other. That's the only way he's going to get around. He's definitely faster. If you look at the lap times, Vance was in fact 2 seconds slower than Colt Ansley that last lap, but Ansley still sits third. James Pitt, in fact, 2 laps sooner the last cycle than Colt Ansley. So again, 2 laps fresher tires for the 86. That must be why he's able to close this gap the way that he is. Long straightaway once again down into turn number 12. Defensive line for the 11. Ansley goes way high, side by side, but it looks like Vance is going to get the position. Crossover from Colt. Colt's going to go to the inside. He takes the second spot. Move Colt Ansley up to P2 here with 2 laps to go. James Vance ran up front all afternoon long, slips back to the 3rd spot. Really a victim at this point of just older Goodyear Racing Eagles. Only 2 laps older, but it makes a huge difference as you see the 86 starting to gap the 11.
Yeah, Colt put on a beautiful move there. I mean, he made James defend the bottom, and he looked like he was going to go high and just ducked under him.
Take a look at it once again. Watch the instant replay. The pass. Couldn't see much. Oh, there was contact made. Don't know if Vance was trying to make contact there, but look at it one more time from a wider angle. You see Vance took the low lane. Crossover came from Colt Ansley. Now it looks like James Vance just got loose off the corner and ended up almost clipping 86 at Ansley in the right rear. They both got away clean. There's going to be no catching Zach Millett, though. Colt Ansley a full 1 minute, 1 second behind our leader.
still a great run for Colt.
Absolutely. And Colt has actually been a pretty good road racer over the seasons here in SCAR. And I had my run-ins with him when I was just getting started out racing in this league, not so much broadcasting, but got my first couple of wins in the series, whether it was in the ARCA series, and then the next day it was in the Cup series, both at Watkins Glen. And in both days there was contact made with myself in the 86. Was definitely not intentional, and I don't think that he's ever paid me back for it, but we've had our run-ins. We've raced clean against each other quite a bit after that. Worked out pretty good, but he's always in the mix, always in the thick of things, especially on the road courses. He's multi-talented, I guess you could say. He's great on the ovals, but even puts down a decent performance here when we start turning right as well. Back out front, the white flag is out. Zach Millett on his final lap of the afternoon. Zach working through the S's section of the racetrack, basically turns 3 all the way through 9 and a little bit of 10, if you can call it that. He's off turn 10 now. He's going to go down the hill into 11, and then another high-speed straight.
He'll be our first repeat winner of the short season so far as well.
Millett into the stadium section for the final time. Still hustling that truck, real loose. Back end coming out on the 315 Silverado. No need to save any more tires at this stage of the game. He's got nothing to worry about. Plenty of a gap back to second, 1 minute and 2 seconds plus to Colt Ansley.
I think he's just showing off.
Millett through turns 19, down the short jaunt into turn 20. Final turn for Zach Millett this afternoon from Circuit of the Americas. Millett off turn 20, almost loses the truck. It doesn't matter. He's going to take the checkered flag. Zach Millett, your winner here from COTA. Dumps right out of the car. Maybe has to use the restroom. Tough to say. We'll follow.
He wasted no time.
No, just stop. No victory lap. No nothing. It's over. Colt Ansley. Show you the distance behind. He is just now getting into the stadium section of the track. That's turns 17 and 18. Guess you could also kind of call it the carousel.
No, this is a great points race for Colt as well. You know, he was 27th in points coming into this race, so this is going to be huge for him.
Definitely needed a good day and got it. Colt Ansley finishes P2. Third place, James Vance. Neil Quick off turn 20. He's going to finish in the 4th position. Brian Rose, now he is just getting into the stadium section of the race course. Again, you see how far this field got spread out with the blistering pace from Zach Millett.
I don't think we're going to get to talk to our winner, Zach Millett. It looks like he has to go to work, Steve.
Yeah, that is true. He did tell me that that was going to be an issue. In fact, I think he's already late for work. I think he had to leave the house, I think, at 10:15 to get there on time. But duty calls, I guess. So we'll try and get a chat with Zach Millett possibly next week, maybe pre-race. We'll talk about COTA, but we'll try and get our 2nd and 3rd place finishers in here. we'll at least give that a shot. But for now, 5th place goes to Brian Rose. We're going to take a short break, try to get some interviews in for you guys. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The conclusion is, well, it's over. Texas Tussle 125 from Circuit of the Americas. We had our fair share of hiccups here this afternoon, but we got the race in. It's all said and done. Zach Millett, your winner. Colt Ansley, second. James Vance was third. Looks like we've got a couple guys in the booth for the interviews. Zach Millett had to run out of his chair and go to work, working the overnight tonight, so we will not hear from our winner, unfortunately. But we do have Colt Ansley, the runner-up. We'll bring Colt up into the broadcast booth. Colt, it's Steve and Eric in the booth. Do you got a copy?
10-4, I got you.
A frustrating afternoon, I'm sure, for all involved, especially if you're not familiar with road course racing, but you brought it home in the second position. It was a struggle. I know you had some times where that truck wasn't going the right direction, but you got it squared away. How did you work your way back towards the front and sacrifice a good afternoon and some good points?
I don't know, man. Just really, it was after I spun. I usually got to get my one spin out of the way at road courses. I can never do one of these things clean. And after that, I just kind of started putting my head down and digging a little bit. Found where I was good, found where I wasn't very good, and kind of accepted that. Sacrificed a little bit of lap time there and gained a little bit where I was good. And I didn't really think I figured I probably had a top 5 car maybe. And then got past Brian and the pit cycle started and actually overcut Brian a little bit. And I was like, hold on, I might have something. And so I started tracking Neil down and got to him, past him, another pit cycle, and James got ahead of me, got back ahead of me, and I started tracking down like 7/10 a lap. And man, this thing's actually pretty quick. So it was a fun battle, though. It was fun being able to cross everybody up and switch back, going into the turns, and work my way through the field. So especially this being a home race for me, I really wanted to bring home a win, but when Zach's out here, there's no competing. So this is a win for me, especially probably going part-time for a little while. I wanted to go out strong, especially with it, like I said, being a home track. It's a beautiful facility. I know a lot of people don't like driving it, but I absolutely love this place. So I was really happy to bring our Apex Toyota on the podium.
Well, certainly, if there was any light on the afternoon here, it was watching you and the 11 of James Vance do battle there with just a couple of laps left in the race. Again, James is a real-life LMP3 driver, and he jumps in here not familiar with these types of vehicles, the NASCAR-style trucks, but certainly very familiar with the race course and how to get around a road course. And you passed him clean. He was running that defensive line. I think that was into turn 12, and you crossed him up, and you made the pass. What were you thinking? What were your thoughts into that move, and how did you execute it and pull it off?
I remember that with him running LMPs, and I knew that he was going to race me clean. He was going to actually race me with road course rules, which is pretty rare on iRacing. So I was kind of excited about that. And I just knew once he was going to make one single move, he wasn't going to cross it back up again. And he went to the bottom, and I stayed down as low as I could, and then shot back to the top to get a wide entry. And he had been smoking his left front the past couple laps into there and then the corner before the backstretch. And I was just kind of watching him do that, seeing where his truck was weight shifting, and he had some kind of clunky shifts too. So that was helping me down the backstretch. Yeah, I just got to him and let him smoke his left front, go wide. I almost went wide myself, and then just tried to kind of, once I got there, just kind of tried to push him off the track, and he hooked me in the right rear and almost spun me. So it was a lot of fun though. It was no harm, no foul. I had a blast. I know we probably will never see this racetrack again, so I enjoyed it while it lasted. And yeah, just again, real excited to bring home our Apex Toyota in second.
Well, Colt, again, you guys put on a great show. Thanks for adding that to the end of the race. It certainly made it worth the wait. Fun to watch. Congratulations on P2. Before we let you go, is there anybody else that you need to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank Apex Sim Racing for being on the car this season. I hate that it's not going to be a full season, but they've got some awesome products. Go check them out and use code OUTCAST and get 5% off. My family, they've been watching me race Scar for 3+ years now, and they've always been behind me. All my friends that tune in, everybody at the Scar, Bobby, Cody, David, everybody that's put this on. Hopefully it won't be a long break for me, but depending on how long it is, I want to thank everybody who's been here in the league and just helped me grow and helped me become a better driver. Without them, I couldn't have done this.
Well, Colt, thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck going forward the rest of the season, albeit part-time or otherwise, man. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Colt Ansley, your runner-up here this afternoon from COTA. You got Brian Rose waiting in the wings, too. Let's bring the driver of the number 89 Track Bar Media F-150 up into the broadcast booth. Brian, it's Steve and Eric. You got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here, Steve. Eric.
Tell us about your afternoon. You talked to us earlier in the event as far as pre-race that, I'm just going to go out here and run clean laps, just trying to bring home this F-150 to a solid finish, and it looks like you achieved that goal.
Yeah, it's a super hard race. I'm sweating right now. I mean, that was a long one. I was really looking for that caution there at lap 26. It didn't come, unfortunately. But, like you said, just get out here and run good, consistent, clean laps. First lap was tough, but we got through it. Nice battling with Colt there for a little while. Saw Vince. He had a strong truck tonight. He kept running me down, but we just kept our nose to the grind and was able to get a P5 finish. I think that's 4 races, 3 top 5s, a win, and a top 10. So still going in the right direction here this season.
Well, as far as that comp caution, it certainly caught us off guard as well. I know Cody Harger, our typical admin, knew right off the bat he was not going to make it tonight. Had some other admins selected, and I don't know if they just forgot or one reason or another, they were out of the session, so we were left with no race officials. So we ran it clean all the way to the green flag, to the checkered flag. It is what it is. Everybody had the same cards to play with. Yeah, they might have had some strategies that played out differently than they had planned, but I guess it is what it is.
Hey, yeah, you're right. I mean, it is what it is. It's still fun. Glad to get out here and compete. Was hoping to maybe sneak a couple laps led here and there, but Zach, he's fast, man. He just absolutely ran away with it. So congratulations to the top 3. Vince, for giving me a run for my money there at the end. I think Track Bar Media, putting his truck on track every week. Good points night for us. P5, if we count a stage caution tonight, we'll get those bonus points right there, and hopefully we can still come out of here with points lead.
Well, next week we roll back into some hot weather down at Homestead, Miami, Florida. Homestead Miami Speedway. What are your thoughts going into that place? I know it hasn't been your favorite over the years. What are your thoughts?
No, definitely not. I don't run very well there. I actually just got out and practiced last night in a next gen car. Still same old. It's tough for me. But we'll get it. We'll figure it out. Got great teammates at Holler Boys Racing. Everybody's going to be out there this week. putting in the laps, working. We'll get it figured out, and we'll come out and we'll have a strong showing there.
All right, Brian. Well, thanks for talking to us. Eric, you got anything for Brian Rose?
No, just congrats, man. I mean, you came out and ran a consistent race, got a top 5, and doing great in point.
I appreciate that. You taught me everything I know about the road course.
I can't even pretend to fake that one.
No, but for real, the Scar Radical Series runs every other Sunday night. Steve, that right there, that helps huge for learning the road. That's a beginner's league. Guys, come in, jump in, learn how to run road courses. There's no way a year ago that I would have been able to have a top 5 finish here tonight. And this, with these caliber of drivers that we have here in Scar, it's just not possible. So learning the tracks and getting on there, putting in the time, listening to some great teammates that I have at Holler Boys, definitely paid off tonight.
Brian Rose makes a really good point to that. The Superior Class Auto Racing, in conjunction with the Premier Series, of course, the Premier Series runs more or less all ovals, a couple of road courses sprinkled in, but we do run a Radical Series, the SR8 Radicals to be specific, roughly a bi-weekly schedule on Sunday nights. We have a pretty long 3-week break coming up after the next race, which is 2 weeks from this past Sunday at New Hampshire, Roval. Okay, it's the South layout. They actually have a road course as part of that. Most of our tracks do run on oval-based road courses with a couple of proper road courses mixed in. We just ran Watkins Glen on the Cup layout. We're going to go to, we did Lime Rock at the beginning of the season. We'll be at Mid-Ohio. Then we're going to run the long course at the Glen, as well against some other Rovals, Homestead, Miami, Texas, Atlanta, all that kind of mixed in. And then we'll close out the season at the Charlotte Roval as well. But like Brian was saying, learning the craft, a lot of people look at it. What does a Radical have that's similar to a NASCAR Cup car or even a Camping World truck? They're nowhere near alike. One's twice the weight with half the brakes and in crazy power, and just you can't drive it on a road course, and the other one is engineered to do that. Brian can attest to it. It does translate. How? I can't even tell you how, but somehow it does, because again, Brian was kind of learning this craft a year or more ago, and the more he ran road racing series, the better his road racing in a stock car got. Today was a prime example, a top 5 finish against some pretty stiff competition ahead of him. So if anybody's out there curious about wanting to run road courses, if you're an oval guy wanting to turn some laps on road just for fun, come out and hang out with us. It's broadcasted. It's a free league every Sunday night, 8 p.m. in the East. You can hit us up here at HBR TV if you're interested, or find us, any of the admins here, myself, Brian Rose. Just message us. We'll get you hooked up. Thanks for pointing that out, Brian.
Anything, man. You guys do a great job. So thanks to the Hateful Chicken, Trap Bar Media, Holler Boys Racing TV, Scar. Appreciate you guys. It was a good race. I know it was probably a little boring on the viewer end, but if you're in one of these rigs, turning left, turning right for as long as we did at a long, tough track like Coda, it'll wear you out. And I want to go pop me open a cold one.
All right, Brian. Thanks for talking to us, man. Good luck next week at Homestead.
Thanks, guys.
Brian Rose, driver number 89, Track Bar Media F-150, fifth place finish. Not always we get to talk to other guys outside the top 3, but again, Zach had to get off to work. We talked to Colt, P2, and James Vance. I don't know where James went. Wasn't able to get into the broadcast. One reason or another. We'll get that squared away for future reference. Again, we got on the road course coming to the end of the season at the Glen, hopefully. But that's going to wrap it up for us here at Coda. Again, let's go through our finishing results. Of course, we talked about the top 3. 4th was Neil Quick. We spoke with Brian Rose. He was 5th. A solid finish for the 15 of Vincent Short. Again, getting the finish that the truck is capable of and the driver is capable of is paramount. And it looks like specifically Brian Rose, Vincent Short absolutely did that. Mike Fahey out of Lone Star Racing. He finished 7th. Keaton Burnett, Chris Goins, all 3 of those guys really out of Lone Star finished 7th, 8th, and 9th. We broadcast their LSR Cup Series on Thursday, so if you want to tune in for that, please do. Will Hewitt finished top 10. A tough afternoon for Will Hewitt. That truck was sideways more than it was straight, but still a solid top 10 for the 33. Drew Blaze finishes 11th. Not a finish indicative of what we usually see out of the driver of the one truck. Typically, you're going to see him up in the top 5, if not winning races. Had an issue, got that truck stuck in the Tech Pro barrier after overdriving the corner, had to tow out, so he spent the rest of the day a lap down. Rob Hattenbach, the number 99 truck, salvaged a 12th place finish. Rob was all over the place, burned the rear tires off that truck. I just can't imagine the struggle he was fighting inside that thing to keep it going straight. Brings it home 12th. Thomas McMullen, 13th place finish. Eddie Rose, 14th. Cook Quick was 15th. 16th place goes to Jesse Bobo. 17th finisher was Andrew Locke. Again, a road racing ace. Not sure what happened with Andrew. Again, we talked about this so many different times this afternoon. He knows how to road race. He understands the layout. He's not a big fan of this place, but the truck is a different animal entirely to these guys that are familiar with road racing. Some guys grasp it, some guys don't. Some guys take more time. James Vance certainly seemed to acquire the abilities relatively quick. Just still not enough for a win, but a top 3 finish for him. But Andrew Locke, tough break, finishes 17th. Carson Conway, an 18th place finish. Mark Truxell was 19th. Bobby Hamilton Jr. had a strong run going for a while, was solidly in the top 10, had top 5 speed in practice. Something happened there with the 16 truck, finishes 20th. And then Jamie Kerr will be credited with 21st. Did not start tonight's event, had an issue, a mechanical failure, likely with his wheelbase at home. So that is your race results here from Circuit of the Americas. The Texas Tussle 125 has come to its conclusion. And Eric, that was a tough one to call. Sometimes the road races are, especially when you've got a group that just aren't super familiar with it. But with all that said, what's your take on this afternoon's race?
I think it was a pretty decent race. We had some battles going on back in the field. I mean, Zach was just head and shoulders above everyone else. But like you said when you were talking to Colt, you know, we had a good battle for second. And I was glad to see Colt get a good finish. I know sometimes he's his own worst enemy, and you wouldn't think that a road course would be the best place for him to get that top 5 finish, but he proved us wrong, came in second, and I think that'll build momentum going into Homestead next week for him.
Certainly can't hurt. Again, new news coming from Colt Ansley about him possibly going part-time here. We'll have to dig into that a little bit deeper, find out what's going on there, but nonetheless, a strong finish for Colt Ansley. And again, if he does run next week at Homestead, that's certainly going to help bring some momentum to him without a doubt. Success certainly helps bring more success. It definitely does not hurt by any means. With that said, we're going to get out of here relatively soon. We're going to have to make sure we thank the Hateful Chicken, though. Again, primary sponsor here, the Superior Class Auto Racing Premier Series. Hangout or carry out, the Hateful Chicken, 615-246-1563. Check them out at 164 South Main Street, Suite 300, Ashland City, Tennessee. And most importantly, please, broadcast-wise, if you haven't already done so, like, share, follow, subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. A little bit easier handle to remember now. It's HBR TV and the number 1, all in one line. HBR TV 1 on YouTube and Facebook. You can easily find us at both of those platforms. Right now, we live stream to Facebook and we tape delay to the YouTube side, so that will be broadcast later on. It's kind of our backup plan in case things don't work. But make sure that you like, follow, share, subscribe, turn on the notifications so that every time that we go live, you don't miss a second of the action. Tomorrow night, we will be live once again here, 8:45 in the East for the Flex Motorsports Everything Series, 305 Sprint Cars at Lernerville. If you don't know anything about this series so far, it's their second race of the season, but they run a different car, a different track each week, a different discipline each time. We ran the 87 Cup cars at Daytona. Now we're going to go 305 Sprints. We're going to do Indy cars, of course, at Indianapolis. It's going to be all over the place. So that'll be a fun one to watch. Different disciplines means different drivers at the front of the field each week. It should be fun. So make sure you tune in for that. Thursday, 8:45 in the East, LSR Cup Series action from Texas Motor Speedway. And then Saturday night, 7:45 in the East, we've got the OG Racing League, My Cricket Makes Truck Series. So plenty of racing action here at HBR TV. Make sure you don't miss a second of it, especially if you're home and you're not doing anything. Look us up. That's going to do it for us at HBR TV from Circuit of the Americas. Congratulations to Zach Millett taking home the checkered flag in dominant fashion, led every lap of the race. For Eric Dotson, I'm Steve Singer. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you at the next one.